yung Discord kasi naka-share screen po ako. Chat ka na lang po sa akin sa Messenger if may question or clarification. Ayan. So, ito po yung formula. So, the limit of f of x plus delta x minus f of x over delta x as delta x approaches to 0. So, ito po yung formula na gagamitin po natin to find the derivative of sine. So, ayan. So, let's add on the limit of sine of x plus delta x minus sine of x all over all over delta x as delta x approaches to 0. So sinabi ko po sa earlier kanina na tandaan po yung sum and difference of the sum and difference of angles identity. So, napapansin po natin na meron po tayong similar or ito, yung sine a plus b is equal to sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. So, pwede po natin siya i-substitute po rito. So, mangyari, the limit of sine x. So, yung a po natin is yung x and yung b po natin is yung delta x. So, di ba po ang formula po natin, lagay ko na lang po sa gilid, it's sine a cosine b plus cosine a sine b. So, pwede po natin siya gawing ganyan, itong part na to. So, it's sine x cosine delta x plus cosine of x sine of delta x minus sine of x all over all over delta x. So, ayan, na palitan na po natin siya and mas na-expand na po natin itong function, itong part na to. Then after that, pwede po natin siyang pagsamahin yung mga like terms. So, notice po na ang first ang first function po natin, ang una niya is sine x and yung second cosine x. So, pwede po natin pagsamahin ang sine x cosine of delta x and negative sine x. So, magiging limit. So, magiging sine x cosine of delta x minus sine x. Then, lalabas po natin to. Magiging cosine x sine of delta x all over delta x. Okay. Naintindihan po ba? Or masyado po bang mabilis? Masyado po bang mabilis? Or okay lang? Gets naman. Okay. Then, based po sa solution here, pwede po natin gamitin yung formula na A plus B all over C. So, equal lang siya sa A over C plus B over C. Diba? So, pwede po natin siya gawin here. So, magiging the limit of delta x as approaches 0. So, magiging sin x, sorry. Mamaya pa pala. Sorry. So, first pala muna is pwede natin i-factor si sin x here. Diba? So, magiging sin x multiplied by cosine x as cosine delta x. Cosine delta x minus 1 plus cosine of x sine of delta x all over delta x. Yan. Na-factor out na natin yung sine here. And after that, babalik ulit tayo dun sa formula na A plus B all over C. Again, same lang siya sa A over C plus B over C. Pwede po natin siya gawin here. So, magiging the limit delta x. So, magiging sin x cosine of delta x minus 1 all over delta x plus cosine of x sine of delta x all over delta x. Ayan. And after that, meron po ba kayo na-notice na identity or identity ba yung tawag? Identity sa triangle. So, manonotice na itong part, and itong part ay same sa identity na the limit of x of x minus 1 over x is equal to 0 and the limit of sine x all over x is equal to 1. So, manonotice po natin na same sila here. So, paano po natin sila mahihiwalay? Pwede po natin ilabas muna si sine and si cosine. So, magiging the limit of delta x times sine x multiplied by the limit of delta x of cosine of delta x minus 1 over delta x. Then, plus the limit delta x of cosine x multiplied by the limit of sine of delta x in-expand lang po natin itong part na to sa taas. So, nangyari itong part, the limit of sine x as delta x approaches to 0, ito lang yon, ito lang. Then, itong part, the limit of cosine delta x minus 1 all over delta x as delta x approaches to 0, ito lang din yon. Plus, nilabas din natin si cosine x, so the limit of cosine x as delta x approaches to 0 times itong part na to, sine of delta x all over delta x as, delta x. So, hiniwalay-hiwalay lang po natin siya para makuha po natin tong identity na to. So, pwede na po natin siyang sagutan. So, since wala naman pong delta x dito sa part na to, as is na po siya. The limit na. So, the limit of sine x as delta x approaches to 0, since again, wala tayong delta x here, wala tayong delta x, as is na siya, multiplied by the limit of cosine of delta x minus 1 all over delta x as delta x approaches to 0 is equal to 0. So, multiplied by 0 plus the limit of cosine x. Again, same lang siya sa sine x, wala tayong delta x, so magiging as is, cosine of x, multiplied by the limit of sine of delta x all over delta x, as delta x approaches to 0 is equal to 1, diba? So, multiplied by 1. So sine of x times 0 is 0, times 1 is cosine of. So, the derivative of sine x is equal to cosine x. So that's how you solve the derivative of cosine of x. Sine of x, sorry. Gets po ba? Meron po bang problem o meron po bang clarifications or ano? Okay po. Yan. Then, same lang po siya sa process ng cosine of x. Gusto niyo rin po ba siyang isolve or ano po natin siya? Diretso na po tayo sa tangent, sa other trigonometric na tangent. Okay, diretso na po tayo sa other trigo. So, same lang po siya ang formula if gusto niyo pong i-check. Same lang tayo sa ano. Then after that, let's head on to the derivative of tangent. So mas madali na siya compared sa sine and cosine of x kasi pwede na tayong gumamit ng formula of derivative. V na tinatawag natin. So, derivative of tangent x. So, di ba, ang tangent x is also same as sine over cosine. Sine over cosine. And alam naman na natin yung derivative ng sine and cosine, di ba? So, let's head on. So, ano nga ba yung palatandaan natin dito? Kung paano tayo mag-derive ng quotient or yung quotient rule na tinatawag natin. So, di ba? Meron tayong tinatawag na low or di ba? U, V. Okay. Meron tayong tinatawag na low or sa baba, low D high, so low D high minus high D low all over low squared. So pwede na rin siya gamitin here or in simple terms V times the derivative of U minus U multiplied by the derivative of V. Yan. All over U squared. So, pwede natin siyang gamitin yung quotient rule to solve for tangent x. Now, let's head on. Yan. Ano yung low natin? Sine of x. So, multiplied by the derivative of sine x minus sine x multiplied by the derivative of cosine x all over the packet ng squared x. Ayan. Ngayon, dahil alam na natin yung derivative ng sine and cosine, pwede na natin siya i-evaluate. So, cosine of x, ano yung derivative ng sine na nakuha natin kanina? It's cosine of x minus pa siya or plus? Tama, minus sine x multiply the derivative ng cosine of x is negative sine x, di ba? All over cosine squared x. So, square lang natin yung baba para makuha yung cosine squared x. So, again guys, reminder lang na ang cosine 2x at cosine squared x is not the same. Yung 2x natin, dalawa yung angle natin here. And ito, cosine squared x, sinasabi, multiply natin yung cosine of x 2 times. Gets? So, set on na. So, pwede natin na i-evaluate na cosine x times cosine of x is x. Ngayon, sine x times negative sine x is negative sine squared x. May negative tayo here. Mamaya na pala. Negative sine squared x all over cosine squared x. Ayan. Then, pwede natin i-distribute yung negative here, magiging positive siya, di ba? So, cosine sine squared x all over cosine squared x. Yan. So, may napapansin ba kayong identity here? So, yung identity natin sa taas, so similar siya sa Pythagorean identity, which is plus sine squared x is equal to 1. So, pwede na natin siya evaluate as the Pythagorean identity. So, magiging 1 over cosine squared x. Ayan. Malapit na tayo. So, this is the final answer. Pero, ito, pwede pa natin siya i-evaluate using the reciprocal rule. So, ano ba yung reciprocal ng cosine squared x? Is secant squared x. So, this is the derivative of tangent x. Squared x. Always check the third letter. Tama ba? Tama, third letter. Kasi baka malito kayo sa cosecant at secant. Ang palatandaan here, always check the third letter. So, when you spell it, cosecant and secant, so pag chinek nyo siya, ano yung third letter natin here? S. Ano yung third letter? Third letter here, C. So, ang cosecant is 1 over sine x. And ang third letter here, C. So, it's 1 over cosine of x. Para hindi kayo malito. Gets ba? Ayan. So, next is solving na practice problems. Pero, gusto nyo ba may trick kasi ako to memorize the derivative of trigo. Gusto nyo ba malaman? Check lang natin para ma-gets. So, ang palatandaan ko here is secant, tangent, negative cos, sine, negative sine, cotangent, negative cosecant, and cosecant. So, secant, negative cos, sine, negative sine, cotangent, negative cosecant, and cosecant. So, to get the derivative muna, let's start muna tayo sa gitna. So, to get the derivative, clockwise. So, pag ganun tayo. So, what is the derivative of sine? It's cos. Anong derivative ng cosine? Negative sine. Derivative ng negative sine, it's negative cosine. Now, derivative ng negative cosine, it's sine. So, that's the easiest way to remember the derivative ng dalawa. Now, ano yung purpose nitong tatlong trigo natin sa gilid? So, ito yun. We want to get the derivative of tangent. So, tanggalin muna natin si tangent. Ano yung natira? Dalawang sec. So, it's secant squared x. Diba? Ang nasolve natin earlier, ang derivative ng tangent is secant squared x. So, same lang siya. So, that's how you get the derivative of tangent. Paano pag gusto natin makuha yung derivative ng secant? Pwede natin tanggalin yung isang secant. So, it's either here or here. Pwede sabihin natin here. Ano matitira? Secant and tangent. So, derivative ng secant is secant x tangent x. Gets? Then, let's head on here. Sorry, lag ba ako? Lag ba? Ayan. Ayan. Wala. Upload lang guys. Interrupt na lang naglalag ako. Ayan. So, ano yung again, pag sa gitna, it's clockwise. Gets? So, derivative ng sine, cosine, and derivative ng cosine, negative sine. So, clockwise siya. Then, let's say we want to get the derivative of tangent. So, lang natin, cross out tangent, ano matitira? Dalawang secant. So, it's gonna be secant squared x. Gets? Then, tama naman siya since here, ang nakuha natin, secant squared x. We want to get, we want to get the derivative of secant. So, cross out lang natin yung isang secant. Ayan. Ano matitira? It's gonna be secant. Now, let's say we want to get the derivative here sa taas. Ano derivative ng cross out cotangent? Ano matitira? Negative cosecant times cosecant. It's gonna be negative cosecant squared x. want to get the derivative of cosecant. So, cosecant, matitira sa'yo, negative cosecant x. When we look here, the PPT, it's the same, di ba? Derivative ng tangent, secant squared. Derivative ng secant x is secant tan. Secant x, tangent x. Tangent, negative cosecant squared x. Then derivative ng cosecant x is negative cosecant x cotangent x. So that's the easiest way to remember. Again, sec tan, negative cosant, sine, sine. Then cotangent, negative cosecant and cosecant. So don't forget yung negative here sa gitna or isang negative sa cosecant. Ayan. So that's the easiest way to remember the trigo. Derivative ng trigo. Now let's answer this. So, 2 cos x. Ang cosine of x minus 6 secant x. Yan. Now, so medyo magulo. Ayun ko lang. Find the derivative of this. As the derivative of 3. Okay? Constant, diba? It's the constant rule. So, magiging 2 times the derivative of x minus derivative of x plus derivative ng 3 or the derivative of a constant is 0. So, 2 times, ano derivative ng cosine natin? It's negative sine x. May balikan natin here. Derivative ng cosine of x is negative sine x. Minus 6, derivative ng secant x. Pag binalikan natin here, derivative ng secant x is secant x tangent x. So, times secant x tangent x plus 0. So pag in-evaluate na natin, it's negative 2 sine x minus 6 secant of x tangent of x. The derivative of the first function. Gets ba? Gets po ba? Ang mabilis. Okay. Okay. Now, let's head on problem. 2 tangent of z minus 2 tangent of z ay 10 pala. 10 tangent of z minus 2 cotangent. Minus 2 cotangent of z. Sorry. 10 pala dito. Yan. So, again, natin yung derivative. So, it's the derivative of 10 tangent of z minus of 2 cotangent of z. Again, yung constant natin, pwede natin siyang ilabas. So, it's gonna be multiplied by the derivative of tangent z minus 2 multiplied by the derivative of cotangent z. Susundan. Then after that, we can evaluate na ano ba yung mouse ko? We can evaluate the derivative. So, then multiplied by, ano derivative ng tangent natin? It's secant squared x minus 2 multiplied by cotangent. Ang derivative natin dyan is negative cos x. Yan. And after that, we can evaluate na ulit. It's gonna be 10 secant squared x minus negative 2 cosecant squared x. Ngayon, natin yung negative. So, the derivative of zx or the z prime of x is 10 secant squared x plus 2 cosecant squared x. So, this will be our second derivative. Ba? Ay, may naglalag ba ako, guys? Sorry. Ikaw yung no. Sorry. Alam ko kayo naglalag. Po natin si Ella. Naglag po ata siya. Ako or masyado mabilis yung ako sa yung ano dito. Ayan. Dito na sila. So again, balikan po natin ulit. So, balikan po ulit natin since nawala. Atas yan. So, the derivative of wala bang laser dito? Z of x natin is 10 tangent z minus 2 cotangent of z. Okay? So, we will get the derivative again. So, the derivative of 10 tangent of z minus the derivative of 2 cotangent of z. Then, again, yung pwede natin ilabas yung constant. Pwede natin siya ilabas. So, magiging 10 multiplied by the derivative of tangent of z minus, labas ulit natin si constant, 2 multiplied by the derivative of cotangent of z. Now, we can evaluate the derivative of the trigonometric function. So, derivative ng tangent z natin, it's, di pala dapat x to. Sorry. So, the derivative of tangent secant squared z minus 2 multiplied by negative secant squared z. Ayan. So, pwede na natin sila ipagsama. So, 10 times secant squared z minus negative 2 secant squared z. Then, pwede natin i-distribute yung negative. So, magiging 10 secant squared z plus 2 cosecant squared z. That is the derivative of the z function. Okay. Now, let's head on to the next problem. Tangent of W multiplied by secant of W. W, tangent of W multiplied by secant of W. Yan. So, in this, the product rule or the UDV plus W natin is U, ang secant W natin is V. So, tangent W multiplied by the natin secant W plus it's multiply pala. Multiplied by secant W multiplied by the derivative of tangent W. Yan. Nasusundan po ba? Naglalag po ba ako? Ayan. So, let's solve na. So, tangent of W multiplied by the derivative of secant is the derivative of secant W. Pag tinakpan natin si secant, matitira sa atin secant x tangent x. So, it's gonna be multiplied by secant W tangent W plus secant W multiplied by the derivative of tangent W, it's secant squared x. Yan. Now, we can pwede na natin sila gonna be secant W tangent squared W plus secant U W. Hindi pala dapat X to. Yan. Ngayon, notice na pwede natin, to be honest, pwede na ganito yung sagot. Gets? Pwede na siyang ganyan. Pero, pwede din natin siyang what do you call this? Tama. Yeah. Natin, or pwede pa natin siya simplify, pero for the sake of time din natin, okay na yung ganito. Ito pala, may kita pala yung sagot. Ayan. So, tama tayo. Secant cube W plus secant W tangent squared W. So, ayan. Gets po ba? Now, let's head on to the next problem. Sabihin nyo lang guys pag masyadong mabilis. So, t cubed minus t squared sine t. Sine t. So, para madali, okay. So, let's get the derivative first. So, the derivative ng t cubed minus the derivative ng t squared sine t. So, itong part na to, itong t squared sine t, gagamit ulit tayo ng product rule or yung UDV VDU. Or ito ulit, gagamit ulit tayo nito sa part na to. Kasi multiplication siya. So, huwag kayo malilito na de-derive mo siya isa-isa. So, basta may makita kayong multiplication here, gagamit kayo nun, product rule. So, let's get the derivative of this first. It's gonna be 3t squared minus ito, derivative na ito. So, again, U natin is t squared. So, t squared multiplied by the derivative ng v natin is cosine of t plus sine t multiplied by the derivative of t squared, it's 2t. Yan. So, pwede na natin siyang pagsamahin here. 3t squared minus, it's gonna be t squared cotangent of t. Hindi siya pwedeng cotangent t cube kasi etong t natin here sa cotangent, it's an angle. Kaya hindi natin siya pwedeng pagsamahin. Hanggang ganito lang siya. Gets? Plus 2t sine t. So to be honest, pwede na yung gantong answer natin. Ayun lang. Pag-distribute ko. So, when we get the answer, yan. Di-distribute pa natin pala yung negative here. Kaya tayo naka-bracket. So, pag di-distribute natin here, magiging 3t squared minus t squared cosine pala yan. Sorry. Tangent. Sorry, nag-autocorrect kasi siya. Cosine of t minus 2t sine t. Ayan. So, eto na yung final answer natin. Let me check here. Ayan. So, here, ang nangyari kasi here, bakit hiwalay-hiwalay siya? Dapat talaga naka-arrange siya based sa power or sa degree. So, ito yung pinaka-correct answer natin. Pero tama rin yung nasa PP. Iba lang yung arrangement. So, ito yung the derivative na ht prime. Yan. Notice na ba? Hindi pa tayo mag-try na isa pang problem. Last problem. Ano maganda? Ito na lang. So, last problem sa trigonometric is gonna be y is equal to, ano yan? 6 plus 4 square root of x. 6 plus 4 square root of x. Okay. Now, the derivative. So, the derivative of 6, the derivative na 4 square root of x cosecant of cos. So, the derivative of 6, it's 0. Plus, gagamit ulit tayo dito ng UD dVdu. So, yun natin this, yun natin to, and v natin ito. So medyo nakakalito siya kasi tatlong function siya. Ilabas, di ba, 4 kasi constant siya. So, magiging 4 times the derivative ng square root of x times cosecant of x. Mas madali na siya, di ba? Nilabas lang natin si 4. Ayan. Now, let's get the derivative na nitong part na to. View natin is square root of x. V natin, cosecant of x, derivative niya is multiplied by, muna ko i-add yung report. Mamaya na pala. Basta may 4 tayo here, sinusolve lang muna natin yung derivative nito. So, derivative ng cosecant x, pag binalikan natin here, tanggal natin si cosecant, matitira, negative cosecant, cotangent. So, it's gonna be cosecant x cotangent of x plus cosecant of x, ito yung v natin, udv, yan, v natin, times the derivative ng square root of x, it's 2 square root of x. So, para isolve natin yan, mas mabilisan. So, paburahin ko rin to guys So, it's x, diba square root of x square raised to 1/2. Then, gagamit na tayo ng generalized power rule. So, it's gonna be 1/2 times x raised to 1/2 minus 1. Diba? Then, yung patabing na siya. Then, yung 1/2 natin, yung 1 natin, pwede siya maging 2 over 2. Kasi diba, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Para para mas madali natin siya masubtract. Kasi same yung base natin. So it's 1 minus 2, it's negative 1. It's 1 half x raised to negative 1 half. Yan. Gets 1 half minus 2 over 2 or 1. It's negative 1 half. Now, pag sinabi natin negative 1 half, ibababa natin siya. So it's gonna be 1 over 2 1 half. Then yung 1 half natin, pwede natin siya ibalik to square root. So kaya natin na gets ba? Masyado mabilis. Gets ba kung paano nakuha yung 2 square root of x? Ayan. Urayin ko lang ito. So that's how you get 2 square root of x. Tayo here. Now, pwede na natin siyang pagsamahin lahat. So it's gonna be square root of x, negative square root of x, cosecant of x, cotangent of x. So pinagsama lang natin siya here. Dinalabas si negative. So negative square root of x, cosecant of x, cotangent of x. Bawal natin siya isingit na negative cosecant of x, square root of x, then cotangent of x, square root of x. Bawal siya. Kasi etong function na to, as 1 siya, as 1. Isang buo siya. Kaya negative square root of x times cosecant of x, cotangent of x. Plus, eto, pwede natin siya, aakit lang siya sa taas. Diba? Or the same as cosecant of x over 1 times 1 over 2 square root of x. Diba? Same lang siya. Magiging cosecant of x over 2 square root of x. Negative square root of x, cosecant of x, cotangent of x. Yan. Pero, di ba meron pa tayong 4 dito sa labas? Pwede natin siyang ipasok dito. So, it's gonna be negative 4 square root of x, cosecant of x, cotangent of x, plus, so, pag minultiply natin siya here, sa taas lang natin siya malalagay. So, it's gonna be 4 cosecant of x over 2 square root of x. Notice na yung 4, pwede natin siya mabawasan. Diba? So, matatanggal to. So, it's gonna be 4 divided by 2, it's 2, diba? So, it's negative 4 square root of x, cosecant of x, cotangent of x, plus 2 cosecant of x over square root of x. So, ito na yung final answer natin. Let's check. So, ang nangyari here, gets, diba? So, ang nangyari kasi here, inakyat niya. Inakyat niya here. So, pag ganon, magiging negative 4 square root of x, cosecant of x, cotangent of x, plus 2 x raised to negative 1 half cosecant of x. So, ayan na yung sagot natin here. Diba? Same lang siya. Nauna lang yung ito. Notice, diba? Same lang. Gets ba kung paano nakuha yung derivative? Take home na lang. Ay, no. Wait. Sorry. Ayan. Dahil kulang na tayo sa time, take home na lang po itong problem na 1 over 2 sine of t minus 4 cosine of t. Pwede kang gumamit here na ay sorry. Pwede kang gumamit here ng low d high, high d low. Yung ginawa natin sa tangent, di ba? Sa pag-derive ng tangent. Yan. Now, let's head on to, okay na ba guys? Okay na. Nakakuha na. Let's head on to the second topic or lesson 3.4, concavity and the second derivative test. Kaya ito ng 1 hour guys. So, let's recall. Let's recall by identifying the increasing and decreasing function and what is the first derivative test. And of course, finding the critical number and points. So, itong tatlo na to, importante siya to, not really, pero yung first derivative test is, so, again, ang increasing function natin is paganto and paganto. So, sorry. Dahil focus tayo sa second derivative test, hindi ko na-explain yung definition ng first derivative test. Pero, if the first derivative or f prime of x is greater than 0 for all x in that interval, then the function is increasing. So, sinasabi lang here, try ko ito para mas maintindihan. So, di ba, meron tayong function. Meron tayong function, kunwari pa ganito. So, let's say, the first derivative is greater than 0. So, lahat, kunwari, ito yung function natin, x. So, next dito sa interval na to, sorry. Wait lang. Function, and we derive it. So, ito yung interval natin na derive. Yan. Then, if it's greater than 0, pag na-derive mo siya, then, this function is increasing. Kunyari, itong part na to. And derive mo siya, and it's greater than 0, therefore, it's increasing. So, ganun lang ang first derivative test. And, to calculate the critical points, of course, calculate the first derivative and equate the first derivative to does not exist, or hanapin mo if does not exist siya, or to 0. So, let's recall ulit. So, we have the relative minimum and the relative maximum. So, iba siya sa absolute maximum, absolute minimum. When we say relative maximum, ito lang yung mataas sa interval na yun. Pero that's not hindi ayun yung pinakamataas sa function. Lalo na if it's quadratic or pataas siya to infinity. So let's try to solve this muna pala para mas mabilis natin maintindihan yung first derivative. Para ma-recall lang natin siya. So, let's try ko pa ikaw. Malalagay ba siya? Ayan. Hindi siya pwede mapalaki pala. Pero okay na yan. So, we have a function 3x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4. Now, let's derive it first. So, y prime is gonna be 3 times 3, 9x squared minus, mabilis ang derive na lang tayo dito So, generalized power rule, multiply natin here, minus 1. So 3 times 3, it's 9. Then 3 minus 1, it's 2. So 3 times 2 is 6x, minus 1 is x. So derivative ng constant, 0. So this is the first derivative, di ba? Now, we can factor this out. Pwede natin siyang mas mahimay. So, ano yung pinaka-common sa kanila? It's 3x, di ba? So, 3x divided by 3x squared, it's gonna be 369. So, it's gonna be 3x minus 2, di ba? So, 3x times 3x, 3x. And 9x squared, 3x times negative 2, negative 6x. Now, let's equate it to 0. Notice, di ba? Bakit hindi natin siya pwedeng ma-equate sa does not exist? Bakit not possible? Maging D and E. Kasi, polynomial siya. Di ba? Pag polynomial, kahit anong input mo dyan, hindi siya magiging does not exist. You can only equate it to 0. Gets? Not exist lang siya if it's a rational function or yung merong rational function or merong square root. Gets? Kaya ito yung ina-explain ni Sir Oscar. Pag polynomial, hanggang equate to 0 lang siya. Hindi mo siya pwedeng ma-equate sa does not exist. Unless na rational function siya or square root function siya. Gets? Ayan. So, ayun lang yung sinasabi ni Sir Oscar. No, now let's equate it to 0. So, 3x equal to 0 and 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. So, if we're gonna equate it, so this is gonna be 0. And this is gonna be 2, 3x divided by 3. It's gonna be x equal to 2/3. So, ang critical number natin, it's 0 and 2/3. Critical number natin. Okay? Remember that. So, next, we're gonna draw a number line. So, it's 0. Sorry. So, 0, 1. So, ano ba yung number na closest sa 2/3? So, 2 divided by 3, it's 0.6. So, ang 2/3 is 0.6, so 0.5, around here. Ayan, ito yung 1. So, 2/3 is here, di ba? So, bibilugan natin yan. Yan. Now, palakihin na lang natin kasi masyado maliit. Kunyari, ito yung 1. Tapos, ito yung 2/3. Nandito. So, critical points natin, it's 0 and 2/3, di ba? So, we have x is less than 0 and x is greater than 0 but less than 2/3. And we have x is greater than 2/3. Now, we can use yung table na ginagawa ni Sir Oscar. Ano ba yung mga na-derive natin? Diba? So, babalikan natin to. 3x squared, 3x multiplied by the quantity of 3x minus 2. So, gagawin lang natin siyang table. Wala. Gonna be 3x table, 3x minus 2, and yung first derivative, if it's increasing or decreasing. And yung mga nagawa nating interval, x is less than 0, 0 is less than x but less than 2/3, and x is greater than 2/3. Yan. Ay, sorry, masyadong na ano. table na to, remind ko lang, this is the first derivative test pa lang. First derivative test pa lang tayo. So, recall lang siya. So, ayan. So, ang purpose niya is to know if it's increasing or decreasing yung function natin. Gets? So, if it's increasing or decreasing. So, what is number less than 0 is 1, ay negative 1. So, it's gonna be negative. So, negative 1 times 3x, negative 1. Negative 1 times 3, it's negative 3 minus negative 2, negative 5, so negative. So, it's positive. Increasing siya. Now, let's say, here. Ano yung number na greater than 0 but less than 2/3? So, let's say 0.5, positive siya. 0.5 times 3, it's positive. Then, 0.5 times 3, it's 0.5. It's 1.5 minus 2, it's negative. Now, dahil polynomial siya, and ang nangyari diba dito, nag-multiply tayo. Diba multiply yan? So, we're gonna multiply this. Positive times negative, it's negative. Then, greater than 2/3, it's still positive. Instead of 2/3, sabihin natin 1. 3 times 1, it's 3 minus 2, it's positive. So, increasing, decreasing, and increasing yung function natin. So, increasing siya at x is equal to 0, and decreasing siya at x is equal to 2/3. So, always check yung pinaka-kilid na number. So, increasing siya sa x is equal to 0, so it's gonna be relative maximum. Diba? And ito naman, relative minimum. Gets? So, pag chinek natin siya sa function dito, y is equal to, ayan. When we look here, pagdating sa x is equal to 0, ayan, di ba? X is equal to 0, increasing siya. Pagdating here, x is equal to 2/3. Yan, 2/3. Decreasing na siya pagdating sa 2/3, di ba? Pababa na siya. Yan, pababa. So, ayun yung purpose ng first derivative test. Now, let's head on to second derivative test. Papiyaw lang to yung first derivative. So, kahit take home na lang natin to or other pag-solve na natin. So, what is concavity? So, ayon sa definition ni Sir Oscar, let f be differentiable on an open interval I. We say that the graph of f is concave upwards if the first derivative is increasing on the interval I, and concave downward if the first derivative is decreasing on I. So, medyo nakagulo siya. Pero ang concavity lang, ibig sabihin, kung paano nag-curve yung function. Kung upward ba siya or downwards. Gets? Ayun lang yung meaning ng concavity. Ayun. So, di ba sa first derivative, if the first derivative is greater than 0, it's increasing. Same here, if the second derivative is greater than 0, then the function is concave upwards. Gets? So, ano ba pinagkaiba ng first and second derivative? Di ba, let's say we have a function here. Kunyari, pag ganito. Yan. So, sa first derivative, di ba may sinasabi silang increasing? Kunyari, ito yung increasing natin. Pag ganyan. Nalalaman natin yan sa first derivative. Pero sa second derivative, dito natin nalalaman yung concavity. kung paano nag-curve yung function. So, pag sinabi natin using the second derivative term, nagko-concave, upward siya, di ba? Di ba? So, it's similar lang sa first derivative. So, ganun siya. So, di ba, pag sinabi natin sa first derivative, kung nag-i-increase ba siya, pataas or pababa? Pero sa second derivative, kung nagko-concave, upward ba siya or downwards? Gets? So, ayun lang yung purpose and yung definition ng first and second derivative. So, babalikan natin itong mga definition na to. So, if the second derivative is greater than 0, it's relative minimum kasi, di ba, bumaba siya. Pero it's still increasing. Pataas pa rin siya, pag ganun siya. So, medyo nakakalito, pero ang increasing niya pag ganun. Pero ang relative minimum niya is here. So, ganun. So, let's try to answer this equation. So, x squared plus 1 yan. So, hindi na tayo muna gagamit ng first derivative. So, gagamit lang tayo ng second derivative. So, mabilis ang derivative lang tayo para bawas sa time. So, sabi natin, low di high, high di low. So, low, derivative ng high, it's just 2x minus high natin, it's x squared plus 1. Then, derivative ng x minus 1 natin is just 1 over x minus, x minus 1 squared lang siya. So, low natin, then derivative ng taas, minus derivative ng baba, then all over squared ng baba. So, pwede na natin siyang dito. Mas simplify 2 minus x squared plus 1 minus 1 squared. So, notice na pwede natin makancel to. Subtract natin, it's gonna be x squared minus 2x plus 1 over x minus 1 squared. So, this is just the first derivative, di ba? Ang hirap pala na yun pag first derivative, second derivative. So, pag first derivative, equate natin siya sa 0. And that does not exist lang siya if yung x natin is 1 or negative 1. Hirap na. Yan. So, now let's get the second derivative. So, low. Mabilisan na lang to guys. Sorry. Low. Derivative ng high natin, it's 2x minus 2 minus high natin. Puro ko nga. Para mas minus x squared minus 2x plus 1 multiplied by the derivative nito, so it's just 2 times x minus 1 multiplied by 1. Yung chain rule natin, di ba? So, generalized power rule, x minus 1 squared, lalabas natin si 2. So, it's 2 x minus 1 times yung derivative ng loob or 1. Kaya natin siya nakuha ito. Gets? Ayan. All over x minus 1 squared or raised to 4. Kasi diba pag square natin yan, i-times natin siya. Ngayon, pwede na natin siyang pagsamahin. Gamit na lang tayo ng calculator here. Sorry guys, para lipid sa time. X minus 1 squared times 2x minus 2 minus x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus 2x minus 1. Yeah. It's gonna be 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 6x all over x minus 1 raised to 4. Ang hirap pala nito. Ayan. Now, we can get the roots here. Ano ba natin makuha yung roots? Or yung critical number natin? So, wait lang. Feel ko mas madali pag mas madali pa ang ginagawa ko kasi here is sinasalpa ko na lang siya sa CalCU and kinukuha na niya yung root sa akin. So, books ako sa inyo, dali nyo na lang yung kaya nyo. Try kong i-check kung kaya rin i-factor yun. Pero, once na ma-factor natin to, ang makukuha natin na critical number, it's 0, 3 over 2, and 2. So, this is our critical number. To be honest, para mas madali, ang gagawin natin, let's get, diba ito yung first derivative? Ito. So, let's already get the roots here. So, x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus 2x plus 1 over x minus 1. So, let's already get the roots here. Mas madali siya makuha. So, equate natin to 0. So, pag pinactor natin, it's gonna be x minus plus 2 x minus 1 tapos ayan. Ay di mali, hindi, tama pala. Tama ba? Ay may lang, sorry factor natin siya. So it's gonna be ano pala siya? X minus 1 squared. So, hindi siya pwede. Wait. Hala. Ano ba sagot ko dito? Wala pala akong sagot dito. Sorry guys. Mahirap tayo. Number 2 na nga lang yung sasagutan natin. Sasagutan na lang natin yung number 2. Sorry. Balikan ko kaya, try ko siyang sagutan, tapos send ko sa inyo yung solution. Kasi magtagal tayo if sagutan ko siya on the spot. X cubed minus 6x squared plus 9x plus 1. Yeah. So let's try this. So let's get the first derivative. It's 3x squared minus 12x plus 9. So, pwede natin siya i-factor. pwede nga natin labas si 3x, si 3 pa pwede natin ilabas. X squared. Si 3 nga. So, ang mangyayari, lalabas si x squared minus 4x plus 3. Yan. Tama ba? 4x plus 3. Then, eto, pwede pa natin siyang i-factor out. It's gonna be 3 times x minus 1 and x minus 3 para maging positive. Now, let's equate it to 0. So, 3 is equal to 0. Hindi siya pwede. So, ang roots lang natin is 1 and 3. Diba? 1 and 3. So, this is our critical number. Now, let's try to use the first derivative muna tayo. So, one, 3. So, labas natin. X minus 1 and x minus 3. Okay. If number less than 1, so sabihin natin 0. 0 minus 1, it's negative. Then, 0 minus 3, it's negative. Then, negative times negative, it's positive. Kasi nga, di ba, polynomial siya, it's multiplication. Then, number between 1 and 3 is, let's say, 2. 2 minus 1, it's positive. 2 minus negative 3, it's negative. So, it's negative. Greater than 3, let's say 4. 4 minus 1, it's positive. And 4 minus 3, it's positive. So, it's positive. So, it's increasing 2 at x is equal to 1. So, x is equal to 1 if maximum. And our x is equal to 3 is our relative minimum. So, let's double check it. So, to double check it, we can use the secondary wave. Ito yung original natin. 3x squared minus 12x plus 9. So, let's get the second derivative. So, 3 times 2, it's 6x minus 12. Pwede natin siya i-factor. So, maging 6x minus 2. 2. Okay. Sorry. Hindi na pala natin siya pwede factor. Hindi lang pala. So, pagdating second derivative, di ba nakuha mo na yung second derivative? Pwede mo na isalpak yung mga nakuha nating critical number. 1 and 3. So, 1 and 3. So, 1, 6 times 1. Sorry. 6 times 1 minus 12, it's negative 6. And we have 6 times 3 minus 12. 6, 12, it's 18 minus 12, it's 6 positive. So, ang ano natin, ang f to 1 is, diba, it's less than 0. So, it's relative maximum. but it's concave downwards. Down. Ito naman, it's greater than 0, so it's relative minimum, and it's concave. Now, how do we point flexion? Sige, mamaya na pala. Ayan. So, let's check if tama ba. Ayan. So, at here, at point x is equal to, ano yung ano natin? 1. And x is equal to 3. See, di ba? Ang x is equal to 1 natin, ang relative maximum, and x is equal to 3 natin is our relative minimum. Ito. Diba? So, ngayon, ganun ang pagkuha ng derivative natin to check. So, tama naman tayo na ang 1 natin is our relative maximum. Diba? Tama. So, mostly ginagamit ang second derivative to get the concavity and to check yung first derivative. X is equal to 1 is our relative maximum term, and it's concave downwards, di ba? When we look, di ba? Concave downward siya. Pababa siya. Di ba? Pababa. Pero it's increasing here. Di ba? It's increasing siya and decreasing. Pagdating here, x is equal to 3, it's relative minimum, and it's increasing ulit. So, di ba ang sinod natin sa first derivative test, it's increasing, decreasing, increasing. Ang nakuha natin, increasing, decreasing, and increasing. So, and sa second derivative test naman, sinabi di ba, it's concave upwards sa x equal to 1, and concave downwards sa x equal to 3. So, gets ba kung ano yung pagkuha natin ng second derivative? Sorry guys, nakakalito ba? Sorry. So, let's head on the next problem. Wait lang. Naglalag ba ako?
Ano? Ano?
Yes. Number 3. Wait lang. Maybe number 3. Let's head on to inflection. So, yung point of inflection, ang basic definition niya, of the graph changes. So, from then, so let's check point of inflection here. So, ano yung critical number natin? It's 1. And, sasalpak natin siya here sa original function. So, it's gonna be point of inflection x cubed x squared plus 9x plus 1. So, pag sila natin si 1 here, it's gonna be 1 minus 6 plus 9 plus 1. Negative 5, 4, 5. So, it's gonna be 1, 5. So, 1, diba? Then, pag sinalpak natin si 3, so 3 cubed minus 6, 3 squared plus 9, 3 plus 1. So 3 cubed, 27. Aish. 27 minus 6. 3 squared, 9. 9 times 6, 4, tama ba? 45? 9 times 6. 54 pala, sorry. Negative 54 plus 27 plus 1. So, 27 minus 54, it's 27. Plus negative 27. Plus 27, it's 0. Diba? Plus 1 is 1. So, our point of inflection is 1. So, when we look at the graph ulit, 1, 5, that's the point of inflection. So, iba siya sa critical point natin and sa point of inflection. So, pag sinabi natin critical point, ito naman kung saan nag-change yung graph from increasing to decreasing. Dito naman, kung saan nag-change yung graph from concave upwards to concave downwards. So, almost the same na. Kaya nga nag-work yung mic mo, babe. Yan. Now, let's go to the next example. Last example. Taking. Hindi ka nagsasalita, babe. Naglalag ka. I mean, yung parang static lang. Static lang yung sound. Is last function. Then mamaya, magsasagot din kayo sa extra time. Then pa-check nyo na lang sa akin. So, it's gonna be x raised to 4 minus plus 6x squared. Yan. So again, get the first derivative. It's gonna be 4x cubed minus 12x squared plus 12x. Yan. Ngayon, pwede, para mas madali, ang suggest ko sa inyo, gawin nyo na rin yung first derivative test. Kasi, di ba sa exam ni Sir Oscar, minsan, kung increasing or decreasing, tapos sine-check kung concave upwards or downwards, di ba? So, mas madali, gawin nyo na rin both. Kasi madali rin naman na gawin yung both. At mas safe gawin yung first derivative test. So, ang naman, the purpose niya lang is first, to check the concavity. Second, to check kung tama ba yung extrema mo. And third, to get the point of inflection. Ayun lang. So, let's try this. So, if we're gonna factor it, pwede natin malabas. It's gonna be x squared minus 3x plus 3. Tama ba? Tama. Then after that, pwede natin i-factor yung x squared minus 3x plus 3. So, x ala, hindi pala pwedeng ma-factor itong So, hindi siya pwede. Magiging ano siya? Imaginary pala. Here, no real solution. Okay. Oh, may mali sa problem. Check ko nga sa graph. Kung ano yung graph nito. Sorry, hindi ko kasi na-check yung problem before. Kala ko okay siya. Ah, okay. So, manonotice natin here, di ba hindi natin siya pwedeng ma-factor. Addition lang niya is equal to 0. So, ayun lang yung critical point natin, 0. So ang relative minimum natin is 0. Pag chinek natin sa graph, di ba, 0 lang siya. Ayan. So, ayun yung isang palatandaan natin. If hindi mo ma-factor yung isang function, kung ano lang yung solution na meron dun, ayun lang yung critical points natin. So, there's no... Try natin yung second derivative. So, 4 times 3, 4, 8, 4, 8, 12, 12, 6, plus 12. Now, sasalpak natin si 0. So, 12. 12 is greater than 0. So, it's concave upwards and it's relative minimum. So, tama tayo. Pag chinek natin sa double derivative test, di ba? Okay, sorry. Pag masyado mabilis. So, ulit, di ba? Ito yung function natin. Function natin ito. And we got the first derivative. F of x, di ba? Ito na siya. Then, trinay natin siyang i-factor. So, ang makuha lang natin factor is 4x at ito. Pero when you factor this, hindi mo siya wala ka makukuhang real factors. Eh di ba sinabi natin, kailangan yung x natin is real. Meron tayong real solution. Eh, imaginary siya. So, itong part na to is not, or hindi siya pwedeng maging critical number. So, ang pwede lang natin ma-equate to 0 is itong 4x. So, 4x is equal to 0. X, divide both sides by 4, so x is equal to 0. So, 0 is our and only critical point. Gets ba? Gets ba? So, ayun lang yung critical point natin. Kasi, di ba, hindi natin siya ma-equate to 0. Magiging imaginary siya. So, we're gonna equate to 0. So, ano lang siya. Di ba, pag ginawa, ayun. So, paano ba natin malalaman if it's relative minimum or maximum? So, 4x lang pwede natin lagay dito. So, 4x, x is less than 0 and x is greater than 0. Less than 0, it's negative. Greater than 0, it's positive. Sorry. So, it's decreasing to increasing. And x is equal to 0 is our relative minimum. Gets? Then, let's check using the second derivative, di ba?
No.
So, ito, 4x cubed minus 12x squared plus 12x de-derive ulit natin siya. It's gonna be 12x minus 24x plus 12. So, ito na yung diba na-derive na natin siya. This is our second derivative of second derivative. Ngayon, para magamit natin yung second derivative, ano yung critical point natin? Ang number natin, di ba 0? So, sasalpak mo lang si 0 dito. So, 0, 12 times 0 raised to 2. Raised to 2 minus 12 times 0 is 0, di ba? 0 lang siya. So, matitira sa'yo, constant. Yung constant na yon, is it greater than or less than 0? Di ba? It's greater than 0. So, it's concave upwards and meron siyang relative minimum na number. So, 0 is our relative minimum. So, tama yung na-solve natin dito sa function na to. Sa first derivative test. Diba? Tama. Relative minimum sa 0 and relative minimum here sa second derivative. Now, pag chinek natin yung graph, diba sinabi dito decreasing, increasing? Diba? Nag-decrease siya and relative minimum natin is 0. Diba? And nag-increase siya. Diba? Tapos, concave downward siya. Diba? Tama naman, concave downward. So, that's how you use the second and first derivative. Gets ba, guys? Gets. So, the point of inflection natin is just 0, 0. Kasi diba, pag sinalpak mo yung 0 dito, wala namang constant sa y is equal to x raised to 4 minus 4x cubed plus 6x squared. Diba, wala ka namang makukuha constant. So, it's 0. So, point of inflection natin is 0, 0. Ayun lang ang pagkuha ng second derivative test. Concave downward siya. Ay, downward ba? Upward pala, sorry. Concave upward siya. Pataas siya, di ba? Happy smile. Upwards. Yun. Now, meron pa tayong 10 minutes. Pa-try po ako sagutan to. Number, 1 lang. 3x squared minus 6x squared plus 9x plus. Pa-try po ako pasagutan. Then, pasend na lang po sa akin yung solution. Try natin i-check. Tama. So, sorry guys. Mag-overtime lang po tayo mga 5 minutes. Pero, ayun lang yung time para i-check lang natin yung sagot na. Then, pero meron na pala dito. Sige po. Take your time. If meron po kayong question, chat na lang po kayo. Meron question, chat na lang or PM. Thank you. Yung number 1 lang, ito. Tapos, pa-check lang natin. And, yung other 4, take home na lang. As, saan ko sa inyo yung solution? Ay, yung sagot. Sorry, copy. Wait lang. Hi guys, nahirapan ba kayo? Meron ba kayong part na need? Ano? Meron ba kayong part na need na check? Ano? Ang problem or need ng help? Question? Yeah. Hey, perfect! Tama ka dyan, Ella. Tama. Ang galing. Yes. Yes. Tama siya, tama. Eh, nagigets niya na yung lesson. Yay. Eh, yan guys. So, pwede na po so, tama naman po na ang ano natin. So, critical points natin is 1 and 3. And, ang ano natin is increasing, decreasing, and increasing. So, ayun yung ano natin. Then, sa second derivative, tama na it's concave downwards, then concave upwards. Ayan. So, when we check, ayan. Thank you so much po. Pwede na lang po picture yung problem para ma-take home po at masagutan siya or pang practice. Then, pwede kayong mag-chat po sa akin to, double check, ganun. Ayan. Okay na po. Screenshot na. Ito pala tayo. Ayan. So, thank you so much po for attending our tutoring service ng StatsClick. So, before po tayo mag-leave, ask ko lang po na pasagatan din